Whoa, hello everyone. I'm not even there. I'm hiding on the side of the screen. Welcome to a pretty interesting day today. It's Wednesday, it's 1 o'clock. It's time for some awesome FileMaker training. I'm going to mute my other broadcast computer over here. Welcome to fmtraining.tv. I'm Richard Carlton, the creator of FM Training TV, where we create awesome FileMaker training content in recorded videos in terms of our video courses. We also do, of course, development consulting, but my primary job is to provide video training. And at this time slot, every day, we do live training on a various FileMaker topics. So today's topic was supposed to be on the basic concepts of error trapping, which we will probably try to do. I think today was error capture for beginners, which sounded really great until we received kind of this somewhat surprising email. We had about 13 hours of advance notice, which is all we got. And Claris decided to ship FileMaker 19 this morning. So we're dealing with all that. And so we were kind of expecting it next week, to be honest with you. But it's all kind of magical surprise shipping of products. So we are here today to talk about 19. We will do some error capture stuff if we have questions on that. But I want to make sure that I have the engineers that are with me. So hopefully Christian is there somewhere. Christian Olson, are you there somewhere?
Yes, sir. Good chatting with you today.
Great. And then we also have Calvin Moseyman, who you folks all know. And then Calvin, are you there?
I am here. Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have some of our expert talent that's here to provide additional information. So once again, today, people are kind of sliding in. We're going to talk about 19. We're going to do Q&A. Questions as we go. We're going to dive into 19. We're going to talk about it. I shot a video. For those of you who haven't seen the video, I'm going to basically cover that here. But there is a top 10 things. It's not top 10 features. It's the top 10 things you need to know. So I'm going to cover those real quick, and you can ask questions online. Christian will be here, and we will do a couple demos along the way. So let me just go ahead and minimize that out of the way. These are our folks here. Haley's here. Haley, did you run into that revised screenshot I was looking for?
Nope, still looking for it.
All right. Well, don't worry about it. If you don't see it, that's fine. We have a screenshot here. It's one that FileMaker kind of put together. But FileMaker's kind of a little, and if it looks fuzzy, it's because it's fuzzy. It's just the way they rolled that up. So if you make it full screen briefly here, this is kind of the outline of the features that are in FileMaker 19. If it's hard to read that, that's as soon as I get a real PowerPoint from FileMaker, then I will do that. But the short version is that the way they've done this, it's interesting because what ends up happening is that they combine several features into like one bullet point, right? So you got that right there, which is a little bit misleading, which talks about script web viewer support with that. Add-on, pre-built add-on components, or I call modules. You'll see me refer to as modules, I think. Yeah, so anyway, so let's talk about this real quick. So I'm going to pop open 19 here. The icon has changed. So FileMaker Pro 19 is a little bit, the name has changed. I've already had 20 emails from people saying, I don't want Pro, I want Pro Advanced. It's Pro Advanced, okay? So understand that they just dropped the word Advanced. And once again, the same thing in 18. You go to Preferences. You can turn on the Advanced tools right here. You have to quit, reopen it. You'll get the Advanced features. Really, the Advanced, when you do Advanced in this, all you're getting, if you open up a application, like I open this one up right here, oh, it's going to make me log in again. It cannot remember who I am, which is unfortunate. So let me just open a sample file here. Demo files, let me just open this one, right? So there's a one from a long time ago. This is one that was put together by Soliant at one point. And so if you go here, you get the tools menu right here, which this is basically advanced. This is what the advanced stuff is right here for the most part, okay? So that's where you get with that. Second thing is no file format change. So it reads and writes FMP12 files, important things to know. So there's no like converting the file. So if you open it in 19 and then you want to go back and open an 18 or 17 or something, you can do that. Understand that 19 will talk to an 18 server. It won't talk to a 17 server. So we had to buy cloud to do demos, right, to shoot videos. We bought the Cloud 2 technology. And so as of right now, FileMaker has not forcibly upgraded that cloud instance. They have not really articulated what their plan is on how that'll work. Because if you do a 19 cloud installation, right, of 19, then you have the minimum client for the cloud has to be that matching version. With server, I typically can go one version ahead or one version behind. Does that make sense? So if you're like an 18 server, it'll host a 19 client, 18 client, or 17 client. Sometimes in years past they would go 2 versions, but I don't see them doing that anymore. It's really going to be probably just one release. So if you have a 17 server and you have FileMaker 19, you're not going to be able to use it. You need to upgrade your server. That has to be part of the plan. So, no file format change, no license pricing is changing. They changed the name of the product. They dropped the word advanced. It's the same thing. There are some really great features in it. So questions up front, not really. People are just kind of absorbing that. So let's talk about like the #1 key mark feature of the product with this release. It's really, we talk about it and it's really a couple different things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to 19. I'm going to say it pops open. They changed a little icon, but really this all operates the same. If I go to open up a sample file, let's just take a look at, well, it doesn't really matter. Let me just create a new file. So I'm going to say create new. This area is more or less kind of the same. They're going to come, they have a whole new set of starter solutions. They were there about a month ago and they poof went away. And that's kind of this, what we're starting to see is this rolling release cycle. This will be the last annual release of the product. Going forward, they're calling it a rolling release, which basically means that I would guess every quarter, but I haven't heard them officially say that because I don't know that they know, really. I think they have an idea what they would like to do, but what the reality of that is, I don't know. So if it was me, and I didn't have to swear on a stack of Bibles, I would say it's probably every 3 months you get an update. I'm not sure how the update even comes into this. That has not really been articulated. But there'll be some sort of like, hey, would you like to update? The trick is to make sure that you test that version before all your people in your company update to it. So there's this question about how do you control that release, right? How does that work? I don't know. Good question. As soon as I find out about that, I will let you know. If we go to just a blank file, we'll start with a blank file right here. This is all standard here. Relation diagram. All this stuff is basically the same. The big difference that you're going to see here, if you go to layout mode, I'm using Command or Control L, is to, on the left, they added this add-ons right here. Now, the add-ons have been in the product for a while. If you watch our training, you bought our training, you have a paid subscription to our training, you awesome people, thank you for supporting the channel. What you're going to notice is that I'm looking at questions over here, and I'm it's just right. I can't look at the questions. Christian and Calvin, if you guys want to, we'll cut to you in a second with the questions. If you guys want to be kind of thinking about these and let you answer them, I'm just going to work on this briefly. But the add-ons were always in the product. They were in the portal setup dialog. So if you dragged a portal, like if you were in here, there's a portal. I drag it down here. There was a thing under here in 18 which says add-ons. It was basically buried and hidden in such a place that no one would ever find it, and they were kind of like testing it out to see what would happen. They moved it here to make it much more prominent. That's one of the things they're pointing out in this slide. If you go back to the previous slide, which is right here, one of the things they're saying is they're making the add-ons much more prevalent right here. So add-ons are now discoverable. That's a fancy way of saying they put it over here so you would see it. And the idea is that you come down to the bottom and you're going to say add an add-on, and when you select an add-on here, it's going to inject it into your file. So the other day you saw us, we're having a lot of fun with our props, and so this is one of our injections, right? So you're going to get an injection of this awesome module into your solution. So this is really great stuff. So the idea is that if I take this and I say choose, then it puts it here, and it's already actually been injected into the file. And so what happens is that it's already put the scripts in, it put tables in, it does all this stuff, it puts it in, and then if you drag and drop it over here, it puts the last piece of it on for you where you want it, right? And it connects it to a relationship in here, etc. It's very cool. However, these add-on modules are really underwhelming, the ones that are right here. The ones they've been working on that are almost ready to ship are the awesome ones. It's a Kanban board. It's a calendar. Claris took the calendar kit we developed in Starting Point. They were like a year and a half ago. They're like, hey, show us something that you're doing. So I gave them our calendar kit, and they go, well, the calendar kit's like a 12-step process, like step 1, step 2, copy, paste, copy, paste. Basically, they kind of took that calendar kit, hijacked it, and it's the same source code from calendar.io, right, basically. And they hijacked it, and they basically built a calendar add-on that will be down here, right? I don't really have permission to necessarily show that. No one said I could show unreleased software. Technically, that's a unreleased little add-on module, but it's a module that you're going to get these, you're going to drag and drop them, and then it puts the calendar on the screen for you, which is great. So instead of it being like a 10 or 12 step process, it's about a 2 or 3 step process. It's much better. There's no artificial intelligence in it. So as you drop the calendar on there, it will work, but then you have to do a couple things to connect the calendar events to the events that you probably already have in your system. So it drops it in there, but it doesn't really know necessarily where you want it to go, and you have to kind of do some direction on that. So Calvin and yeah, so there is a question about dark mode. They did fix dark mode in this release. That's supposed to be fixed. So I'm going to address that. That's in the video, our top kind of 10 video. Calvin and Christian, you guys have questions about, let's stay on add-on modules for a second.
There's a question here for Christian, and it says, how difficult is it to create your own add-ons? Christian, can you talk about that?
That's a great question. At a very basic level, it's easy to do. And that doesn't really mean a whole lot, though. You could make an add-on. How difficult is it to make an add-on that actually has utilities for yourself? It depends on what you need to do.
Christian,
you have to keep.
Do you want to show your screen and go ahead and go through that? Do you have that? Are you prepared to show your add-on that you built yesterday?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Share with the Slack.
Yep, go through Slack. Everyone will see your screen.
So you can ignore this one right here. Let's get something up here. So I'll actually start with a real example.
Okay, hang on. I'm almost there. Stand by. I'm bringing up your
slide.
There we go. Go ahead, Christian. Go.
Got it. Let me get this out of the way.
So we sent Christian on a mission a couple days ago to kind of build an add-on, not so much to make the most amazing piece, but just to actually mechanically construct the add-on, because there's a very specific construction process. So a big part about this release is 1, add-ons are coming. 2, the really cool add-ons are not quite here yet. 3, other people besides Claris can have add-ons. So there's going to be official Claris add-ons, and there's going to be third-party add-ons. So Christian is kind of demoing what a third-party person might do to build an add-on. All right, so I'm just trying to frame that part of the conversation.
Absolutely, and I'll start with a real add-on that some of the developers in the early release have actually made that Richard was kind enough to share with us. Because it's a great example of this, and I'll show you the precursors of what it takes to make a basic add-on, and then we can see if we want to take the conversation.
Yeah, this was a demo. This credit goes to Todd Geis for this. He created a demo here, which was he kind of shared with people, and I want to make sure he gets full credit for putting this out there, because he's been very instrumental helping FileMaker, Claris / FileMaker with this new technology. So.
Yeah, in fact, one of the tools that came with this, and I'll show it here in a moment, is the process of actually making the add-on. So generally speaking, you're going to want 2 files. One file is basically the add-on, and the other one is how you package and add the add-on so that you can deploy it in your solutions. And in this add-on, I wanted to use it because it's real simple. If we go into the back end here, we've got 1 table, no relationships, and a handful of fields, and you'll notice that they're all globals. This is really useful with an add-on because context becomes a lot less important. I'm sure most of you are familiar with globals. We don't have to have a relationship to them for anywhere in the file to see it. This would be used for adding the Stripe charge API to one of your files. Now, there is a single layout here. Excuse me. There are 2 layouts, one of which is extremely basic. It's just a place for an API key. But I really want to draw your attention to this layout right here, because this is really the heart and crux of how you build an add-on. You start with a layout. I'm going to go and go into layout mode here. And you name this layout something very specific. __ FM add-on template directives _ and then a localization code. You can actually have an add-on be localized to many different places. In this case, EN is representative of English language. But you have to have a layout in the add-on with this name. Now, you might have noticed that the other layout or layouts don't have to have this naming convention, but this one does. This is how it knows where to get its instructions, if you will, for the add-on. In the layout that you build, you're going to add a number of objects, fields, text, buttons, what have you. And you have to, and I'm going to repeat this, you have to group them together. And when you group them together, you're also going to need to give them a very specific name. In this case, you give it the add-on name. And I like what Geist is doing here. I'll probably do the same thing, which is name my file the add-on. So this is the stripe charge. And then you have this text string over here. I'm not going to read the whole thing out, but essentially when any file is created, under the hood, something that none of us can see, even the developers, is a file UUID number. And so if you want to make multiple add-ons, you're going to need to have a fresh file per add-on, because at the time you package and create this, it's going to insert that UUID into the code. So this package right here, this grouping of objects, is referred to as the payload. So this layout is the directives layout, and this object is the payload. Any of the objects you have on off screen here are not in the object, or in the group, excuse me, will not get transferred over. But any other layouts that you have, every single object on them will get transferred. Every single script, every single table, TO, relationship, and custom function is going to get packaged. And I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. And Richard, I don't have the... Oh, go ahead.
So step one is to actually build the module in a file.
Yes.
And you have to put certain names in certain places. And it's, once again, this has to be documented. And FileMaker, as of last night at 3 in the morning, had not published the official documentation on this. So everything we're doing here is because we beat our heads against the wall, kind of figuring it out the hard way. So it's kind of the hard way of building training videos. In fact, that's why there won't be a lot of training videos on this immediately, just because until we have the official docs on it and we've read through them and we understand them. I mean, you can't build training videos on features that are not documented. I mean, at least not good training videos. So what are you missing right here, Christian?
So this is, as Richard said, how do you build an add-on? I guess technically that's all the question was.
Yes.
And at a very basic level, to answer the question, you make a layout, you name it this, you put some objects on screen, and you group them. At a very basic level, that's what you do. But any of you out there who've done development can realize there's a lot missing from the equation there.
Right. Well, then the next step is to actually kick out the package, right?
Correct. And I was going to go ahead and show that. I know that that wasn't actually the question, but I think this is what's so cool about this. So again, credit to Todd Geist and Jeremy over there for actually providing us some information and some demos to kind of show how this works. So this is a really, really, really basic file here. You push this button and it looks for all the windows, the FileMaker windows that I have open right now, and I can select one of them. So you guys notice I have starting point 7 hidden, some other ones you can't see on screen. But I'm going to select stripe charge. And now when I push this button, I do want to show this part off here real quick, because if we're talking about the new stuff in FileMaker 19, this to me is the coolest new feature. It's nothing that the users are really ever going to see, but for us as developers, I think that, as I was describing it to someone earlier today, it's like Home Depot added a new section of tools in the store.
Oh, I like that. Can I steal that? Can I steal that?
I borrowed Home Depot from you, so I think it's a two-way street on stealing a...
No, I love that analogy. So that's like a new department at Home Depot with amazing new pre-built. It's like if you went to Home Depot. Actually, better, here's the analogy. You go to Home Depot and they have pre-built, like, have you ever been to IKEA and they have the pre-built rooms and you're like, what you know is, it never looks this good when you take it home. You're at IKEA, it looks beautiful, and you take it home and put it together and it's like, man, it doesn't, because they have the paint on the walls that match the color, they got the lighting, the ambiance, the whole thing. It never looks that good. Well, imagine going to IKEA is attached to Home Depot, and you go into this room and you say, man, I like that room, and you grab it and you just drag that whole room into your house. That's the best analogy. It's like they bolted on the wing, and it's in these IKEA rooms. For those of you who know IKEA, I think it's Scandinavian, I'm not sure who they are, but they build all this low-cost furniture and stuff, and they have these really great huge warehouse kind of buildings where you buy this stuff, and they show it how it'll look. Ideally, it's like seeing a hamburger on TV or a meal or something, and you know that it's all been waxed and polished, and you never get a hamburger that looks that good in real life. So that's, but that's kind of what these things are. They're pre-done, like not just a hammer. We're talking a whole room that's done, right? Which is kind of the idea.
And so this, yeah, exactly. This is this new part in the store to be built with, and frankly, now the contractors, the developers, us all have to come and go, okay, what do we do with this? And so what this file does is it runs that single command using this window. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you didn't see it because I have another window open, but this hidden folder pops up with a bunch of jargon, is what I'm going to refer to it, XML, JSON files. And this goes into a hidden folder. Richard, let me know if you want me to show that.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on your Mac, if you go up to Go and you open up your library, sometimes this can be hidden. We can show you how to access it.
And there is a Windows equivalent. We're just happen to be showing this on that Mac, but
Yeah.
it all works in Windows.
And under Application Support, you can find FileMaker. And I had a moment there. And there's other stuff that's in here. For example, many of us come over here for our extensions, where you can find your extensions, and also
Which
kind
are
of sometimes the plugins.
The plugins are in there, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a new folder in here called add-on module. And so inside this folder, I'm going to call it the add-on components are compiled into this add-on module. See that? I'm going to bring the two together.
Oh, gosh.
So here's all of our little pieces of this file over here. This is kind of, I guess, what makes up a FileMaker file.
So here's the goofy part about this whole thing. So I'm going to back up here. So Christian, can you move this down here for me, but keep it on screen so I can see all three of these? Yeah. So you build the add-on. Hang on, this needs to get away. There it goes. Give it a second. There we go. All right, start again. So this is your add-on module that you build, add-on component. It's basically a FileMaker file with certain naming criteria. Then you have this loader, and basically you're going to use this along with the create package. The package is basically, it renders all this out as XML. We've talked about the idea of FileMaker being able to take and precisely export the structure or schema of a FileMaker file. They're exporting the structure schema of that specific item right there. And what happens is then it loads it into on your computer only, your add-on, kind of available add-on folder. So Christian, you want to go forward so they can see the end of this? Just kind of
absolutely. And so I did add it. Now we're going to go to a file. And
it's only on this. So here's the rub. I mean, people go, well, this is, I get this here that people are going, this is stupid. This is like our first steps on the moon. We had the very first version of FileMaker Go. It only gets better from here. But the ability to build an add-on and just push it out to 5,000 people, that doesn't exist yet. Yeah. How do you get it out to all these people? Not very easily at the moment, right? So we have to, I guess you could automate the installation, right? You could send someone a add-on, double-click it, it would do an auto-install and an auto-deploy right onto their computer. But it put it in the computer. So here is, by the way, this is dark mode for those of you who see dark mode. So this is this was here, this was here, this is new. So Christian, go ahead and continue forward.
Absolutely. And to kind of address the what you had brought up there, Richard, I like what Nathan had said in the chat earlier about new versions, new hacks to solve the bugs. Outside of the word hack, I think that right now is the opportunity for different developers to invent these different ways of how do we use this new tool. And there's a question in there from Ron that I want to come back to, but now that we've packaged the add-on, I'm going to click on this plus right here. And these are the different add-ons that are available in here. Now, I should have showed you this before because certain add-ons are not in here and you have to add them yourself, like we did with the stripe.
Go ahead and scroll down. Okay,
I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to select the stripe.
Okay. Okay, now I just went real quick. No one look. I'm painting this out. No one look at any of this crap right here. You can't see that. That's top secret. Okay, Christian, you keep demoing, and I'm going to scribble out the stuff they can't see.
So I've selected my add-on, and I just installed it. And I want to show you what that means.
Okay, so stop. Say that one more time. Repeat that. You selected it. You selected.
So I went to the marketplace.
Yep.
And I said, hey, I want this product, and I've now I brought the groceries home from the grocery store, and I brought them into my house. I haven't made a meal with them. I've got the groceries. They're ready for a meal to be made, if you will. It's installed in my file.
But it's in the file. So this right here means it's in the file, which is really important because it seems like it's waiting to go on here. But for example, go ahead and show them the scripts and stuff. It's already loaded it. It's already
that's what I wanted to show them. In fact, Richard and I took a file and we're like, hey, does the file get bigger the moment you install it? And the answer is Yes, it does. So if we look back here,
Oh, that's
there's a
starting
new
point.
table.
Yeah, there's a new table. Okay.
Correct. And if I go to the relationship graph, there it is. So I've got a new TO in here, a new table, new fields, and if I go to the script workspace, I believe it's down here at the very bottom, I've got a whole bunch of new scripts. So, well, actually, in this, there we go, Stripe module. So that simple action of clicking install added tables, scripts, TOs, and we have a lot of custom functions and starting points, so I'm not going to go there, but it also brings over custom functions all in that simple installation. But as Richard said, we're not actually doing anything with it yet. It's there ready to be used.
All right, so I need to restate a couple things here because people are asking these questions. So Christian, can you go back to that other spot we were at with the three? Do we have the three windows? Or are they gone? We have one.
Oh, very, 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 very.
Give me my three windows, please. Okay, so step one is you build the module. Step two, you identify it and package it. And that package at the current time gets loaded only onto your computer. So it's not installed yet. It's just, basically what this is this installs the add-on onto, it should say install it only on your specific Mac or Windows computer and nowhere else is what it should say. Now, in an ideal world, you would be able to do that, approve it, and then push it up to FileMaker or to another add-on repository or something, and then it would be free or paid or whatever. And then when people go to FileMaker, go to starting point for me. They go to FileMaker. So that's kind of, this is this piece in the middle that's kind of missing. It's the distribution piece of it. Christian, can you go to starting point for me?
Absolutely.
So then what happens is that it's on your specific copy, but when you press this button right here, this is just going to show you. Currently, all it shows you is the add-ons that are on your specific computer. So go ahead and press the button again. And these are the add-ons that all you have. Go ahead and scroll down. Just go and scroll down. Keep going. Don't worry about this stuff. Keep going. Keep going. Okay. Now, these are all the add-ons that he happens to have. Once again, we can't comment on any of these add-ons because they don't exist. But he keeps scrolling. Installed his own add-on. Is it here? Or is it...
Once you install it, it comes out of the library.
Okay. It doesn't come out. Okay, it's not. It's omitting it.
I can't install it again. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and create me a brand new file. Let's just verify that because that's.
Oh yeah, I mean I've got another one. Give me one second.
Just a brand new empty file. Brand new empty file.
I do. Well, you think I wasn't ready for today? I got a brand new empty file right here.
Okay. That's really great. Wow, that's an ugly ass file. That's ugly.
So beautiful.
All right, so now go and add it there. So we're still on the same computer. We scroll down. It should be there because it hasn't been added yet to this specific FileMaker file. I would say application, but it's a FMP12 file. So when you add it, go ahead and press the button right here. Okay. Does the adding this in is like a two-step process. Step one is we just did step one. So this is the consumer side of it. You find it, you select it, you buy it, you stick it in. Step two is that you actually have to finally select the piece and bring it over to a layout that you want somewhere. And that's really the two obvious steps of it. Then there's behind the scenes where you might have to wire it in a little bit because, for example, if you're doing Stripe, people are going to do Stripe because they already have an invoicing solution they've already built or got starting point or whatever, and they want Stripe. I want to charge it. So then they drag it in there. Then they have to connect the final payment amounts out of starting point or whatever system you're using to the Stripe part. Probably not horribly difficult, but you have to understand TOs and fields and scripts and things like that. So there's a little bit.
I think of an analogy for that, Richard. FileMaker previous to 19 sent us, kind of like with Home Depot, we have a place to go get tools and parts. So think about if you wanted to build a barbecue. You had to go and get all the scrap metal and the screws and assemble a barbecue.
Yes.
But if you wanted to actually cook something, you still had to do that at the end of it. And in this case, I think all FileMaker is trying to do is say, here's a mostly pre-assembled barbecue. You as the developer still have to actually do something to make use of that barbecue.
Yeah, and the operative thing is to understand that when you drag and drop it on here, go ahead and go back to starting point. Show them how it connects the one last piece on that, right? So go ahead and drag it on there. We're on
back to
preferences.
starting point.
No, don't do it there. Don't do it there. Go to invoices somewhere. Go to an invoice layout.
Okay.
You're in touch. Don't do touch.
Oh, whoops.
Thank you. and voids. Just go to the main data entry right there. That's A. Which one is that? Okay, that's fine, I guess.
I'm just gonna make the layout wider.
Make it, just get rid of that, or make it wider. So what'll happen is it's actually semi-intelligent, which is pretty cool. It attempts to connect the primary keys and do this stuff for you.
This one's not going to do what you're thinking of.
Oh, because you didn't wire that in.
We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, go ahead and do that.
But I will.
Okay,
yeah,
so you drag it on here. So then it puts it on there. Then what it will do, if you've set it up correctly, as part of your setup of the package, getting it all set up, it will actually attach its primary or foreign key to the TO that you're on. So it would actually, since we're on an anchor buoy, this would become a new buoy for the anchor, right? Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now, that helps us, once again, so it's like a partially assembled barbecue or partially assembled room from IKEA. They're taking it as far as they can logically, but then at the end of the day, the developer still has to be involved. If this thing completely read your mind and everything, use drag and drop, whatever, hey, we're out of business. It's great. FileMaker is great. They're going to make $1 trillion, and all the developers can just go out and get jobs, sweeping streets and taking out the trash. But the problem is it's not really artificial intelligence. It doesn't really see into really what you want to do. So they cut out as much of the pain agony as possible, but you still have to, at the end, wire up the wires and connect the pieces, the fields together. So,
and to piggyback on what you're saying there, Richard, I wanted to answer Ron's question a little bit. He said, well, what's the point in even doing an add-on if you could just get a plugin? And it's what you just said right there. There's a lot more pieces than just a plugin. This is helping us get schema. This is helping us get layouts. And it doesn't have to be something that even utilizes a plugin. In this case, it's something that's API based. But if you want to, why don't I show them one of the real basic portal ones in here that does draw the relationship?
Yeah,
because I know that Jake was asking to do that.
I mean, here's the thing with file. There's always been things in the FileMaker community where people could build widgets that do things. So people built plugins. A lot of people built free plugins, but everyone who builds free stuff, they have to have some sort of strategy of not going out of business. At RCC, we've kind of mostly figured that out. But some people never figure that out, or they don't even try, and they just charge $1 billion for a product, and there are those people too. So the plugins were the hot item. I think in the ideal world, FileMaker would love to see plugins kind of go away and this stuff replace it, because it has much more depth than just the plugin. And so so let's get on with this, because it's already 1:42 and we barely have scratched the surface of this stuff, because it's really kind of a big deal. This is like earth-shattering, but it won't be earth-shattering for everyone for probably 6 months, it'd be my guess, right? It looks earth-shattering, but we're playing in the deep end of the pool with sharks and no shark repellent, because there's no docs on this yet. Maybe today or this week they put some documentation out, but then you have to learn it. Then you have to deal with the bugs, right? So,
and I just have to 100% agree with that. When I first saw this, I'm like, oh, wow, this is the coolest thing ever. And then I sat down, I said, I'm going to make an add-on, and I'm like, what do I do with it? I haven't really put all the pieces together, other than to know there's a lot of possibilities with this. But as of right now, it's like day one. What do we do with it? Well, I think a lot of smart people are going to figure out some cool things to do with it. I agree with you, Richard. I don't think we have time today to show how you make an add-on with relationships. But do you want me to at least show them what it looks like when you?
Yeah, just drag it on there. Just do one real quick.
So I'm in starting point right now. Just to give context, I'm in our contacts module. And we're going to pretend that a customer goes, hey, Christian, my contacts have many, many different addresses, more than one or two. Is there any way that I can quickly track them? And then we can also comment on whether or not this is how I would necessarily solve it. But again, I'm gonna click the plus here. I'm going to go to the add-on library. One of the ones that Claris gives us is something called addresses. I'm going to install this. And so if I go to the back end, I've got a table over here called addresses. I've got the TO for it, and there might be some scripts. But now I'm going to go ahead and drag it onto contacts. Or, excuse me.
There you go.
Contacts. Yeah, thank you. And here's what I want to show you all what just happened behind the scenes. It made the relationship for me. And this is what Richard was commenting on. Not only did it make a relationship, it used some logic to figure out that ID contact is our primary key, and attached it to the foreign key.
Yeah, because ID contact is a naming convention we use. It's not a naming convention used anywhere else. Well, not necessarily used. If anyone's smart, they use my naming convention. Yeah. So, but yeah, but
I like it.
But yeah, I mean, the point is that that's not like an official thing. So therefore, it found the only primary or only serial number key in the file or in that table and used it and attached it like that. So, I mean, it doesn't line it up, make it beautiful, name it correctly like Anchor Buoy, but not everyone uses Anchor Buoy, and most people don't name their TOs anything. They spew it in there, right? So that's a whole nother conversation. So strategically, like when Christian first saw this, I think it was a late night on a Friday, and I think he'd been drinking a little bit, and I'm not picking on Christian, it's fine. And then he starts texting me, and he's like, oh my God. I mean, it was almost like initially it was panic because we're going to go out of business. There's nothing for us to do. And Christian's been doing this a lot less than I have. And this for me is 30 years. We started 30 years about 3 weeks ago. And we've seen this over and over again. I started with FileMaker Pro 2. Nick started before that, Hunter. What they're doing is they keep expanding how far you can go with the specific amount of effort. So if you have a project and the customer is going to spend, even internally, you're an internal developer or you're using your own money or whatever, say you're going to spend $5,000 on development or coaching or whatever you're going to do. $5,000 today goes way farther than it did 3 or 4 years ago. And it goes way farther than it did 15, 20 years ago. And it goes way farther than it did in FileMaker 2. For $5,000, I could only build a quarter or less of what we're doing today, probably less than that. This thing with 19, immediately it won't be this like massive game changer, but they've turned this loose to the public, and you're going to see developers, the people who are really brilliant, not that they know how to make money, that they're brilliant, right? Those are two different things frequently. And they're going to create all sorts of great add-ons. I'm looking forward to probably 360 Works building some products. I know probably Todd will build some products. The productive guys will build products. The product I really want to see is the base elements product from Nick at Goya. Nick or Goya, fantastic guy. I love Nick. And he makes, in my opinion, okay, let's put it this way. I buy his product and I use his product. Our team uses, we have a site license for his base elements, product that does analysis of the FileMaker file. That file is critical for helping manage this whole thing. To look at a package, to identify how the package is set up, to visually identify it, to verify and test it, and all this sort of stuff. We've just covered topic number 1 today, and so we're just going to stay on topic today. I guess when we edit this, they'll call this the conversation about add-ons. But it's about these are add-ons that you can use. 2, if you're a really, really smart person and you want to be a senior developer and you want to build add-ons, then they've enabled that as well. 3, there's this gap in the system if you don't. Yeah, he's showing the uninstall right here. This is right here will connect to a marketplace where you will have a plethora of options to choose from. Official Claris ones, non-official third-party ones you could buy, third-party ones that are free. Some of them will be great, some of them will be horrible and they'll suck. But it's like, it's like anything else in life, right? And so, if it's free, is it necessarily great? Like, for example, we put a lot of money into Starting Point. For something that's free, it's pretty astounding. For $2,000, it's still pretty astounding. It gives the paid people a run for their money in the CRM. That being said, Christian wants to build a add-on, but is that really his business model? I don't know. This is going to open all sorts of doors. It's really interesting. If you drag on, okay, so Nathan Schneider's talking about if you drag the add-on account to another table, it will add.
I think he's got the Todd question.
Yeah, so that's the. Do
you want me to show him what goes on there?
Yeah, you can show. I mean, it tries to recycle stuff if it can, but if it doesn't, it just creates new, right? I mean, that's go ahead. We had a meeting yesterday on this. Go ahead, Christian, take it.
So, that's a really good question, Nathan. And again, it's probably one of the reasons I think this is a shiny new tool that has a lot of capabilities. But with every shiny new tool, there's also some limitations and issues. So I've added the add-on or the addresses to contacts. Now I'm going to go to accounts. This is like our business company section of Starting Point, if you're not familiar. I've got add-ons addresses already over here. I should use something with a different first letter. and I'm going to drag this onto accounts and show you something before I go to the back end. It works. This is one of the things one of my engineers was asking me about this morning in our coaches meeting. It works in both modules, but as a huge proponent of Anchor Buoy, I've got an issue or contention with what happens in the back end, which is I've this giant line. You guys saw I drug that TO down to accounts to make a really nice buoy, and now I've got this line from accounts drugged down to the same TO, the same buoy that accounts is using.
Yeah.
I haven't played around with how you might fix this, but I hope that answers your question of what you're looking at, Nathan. It will work, but no, it doesn't create a new table, and no, it does not create a new TO either.
Okay, and that's interesting, and so once again, this is where there's no artificial intelligence, and so basically what he said is that it will recycle things if it can, but what it just did is potentially destroy the performance of your FileMaker file because Anchor Buoy is fast, and it's basically creating a spider diagram. And so if you're like a brand new, like say you're Bunny right here, and I'm not picking on Bunny at all. In fact, Bunny got a really amazing, great deal on our training, so I'm going to use her as an example. Let's say Bunny comes up and goes, hey, I'm going to build this system, and she just starts dragging add-on, and then deploys it to the cloud for 500 users. It's probably not going to work very good. And the reason is because there has to be some thought about performance and how it's structured, things like that. The system here is as smart as they can make it, but it doesn't take the place of good training, frankly, and understanding the platform. So once again, where Christian was like, oh my God, we're not going to, everything that we do will just be automated now. No, right? Because the reality is that Bunny can drag it on there, but she just created a spider diagram. The performance of her file, if she has millions of records over there, over a wide area network, may have just gone like that by doing that one thing. So you have to be thoughtful about it. You have to drag it on there. You have to see what it's done, make sure that you're happy with it, and then go from there. So Christian was talking there. Are we going to be, is this going to be in the training videos? Elzo, it will not be in the training videos for next week because there is no documentation on it. I don't know what we don't know. We only know what we accidentally stumbled into by accident. So we will add content to the training videos on this, but this is literally like, basically, imagine it's 1968 or 67 or 65, whenever it is, and the Soviet Union put a dog in orbit. They put a dog in orbit, then they put a monkey in orbit. And then let's pretend that we're Elon Musk visiting 1968 and saying, hey, we're going to be offering, where's the ride, the public rides to the moon, right? Which is what Elon Musk is trying to work on, going to orbit and paying for that. Okay, there's a huge difference between putting a dog in orbit and putting people in orbit for entertainment value, right? Mostly because the dogs and the animals, they mostly all died, unfortunately, right? And so this is where this is at. We're on their first steps on the moon, and it works mostly kind of. But if it was totally working, then all those really cool add-ons that you didn't see here that I scribbled out would be in the product right now. They were supposed to ship with the product. They're just trying to get the little bugs fixed and worked out. I'm okay with them not shipping something they don't think is ready for prime time. But that's what I'm saying about this. If Claris is wrestling with making it work, how is Christian going to do? Because he doesn't have super double secret access, double secret probation to the engineering department down at FileMaker, right? He's on his own, a little bit of online conversation going on with people about stuff. But so this is like, we got the Christian is the dog. He's in orbit. He's alive for the moment. Keep breathing, Christian. Right, and we want to bring him back in one piece, right? And so, yeah, you can play with it, download it. Just understand this is the first step. So there's other things in the product we want to look at and talk about. Another one tomorrow is another super propeller head. So questions from anyone that we can answer as we're kind of coming into land here to about an hour in. If I load the add-on, he's on YouTube, Ed's asking a question. If I load the add-on and upload the subsequent app to my FileMaker server, yeah, because once it's in the FileMaker file, then the add-ons wherever the FileMaker file goes, it's in. Because remember, the add-on, all it is a pre-packaged set of tables, tables, fields, scripts, custom functions. I don't know if custom menus are in there or not. We just lost someone; they died. But the idea is that is that it once you install that or inject it, once again here, let me help you with that. Once you inject it into your file, then it's always in your file. It doesn't leave the file, right? So the idea is to inject it into your file, and then it's there, and then wherever the file goes, you share it. So really, you only have to be the person who does it. You do it once, and then it's there. So that's pretty awesome. I love it. So that's Ed's question. Hey, there we go. Is Christian's color step script something that's new in 19, or is that Monkey Bread plugin? I think you're using Monkey Bread, Christian. Are you still there?
Can I answer that? So and this is a really silly thing to mention, but one of my favorite things about 19 is actually the color of the script workspace and how it's black like that. I do have Monkey Bread installed, and so some of the colors that you're seeing are very likely the colorize or color syntax part of that plugin that I very much like.
And then for those of you who have our training subscriptions, understand that next week we will be, or maybe a little bit earlier, but Wednesday next week, we're going to send out our updates to the training. Training that on doing this stuff, we'll have some of it, but once again, we're only going to put training in there if it's official, right? And so if we're still trying to learn it because there's no documentation on it, then there won't be a lot of videos on that. I mean, who wants to see a video of us stumbling around being stupid? I mean, you just saw an hour of stupid. So I try not to do paid training like that. So, okay, questions. Ad and Bunny are not talking to me very much. I don't know how long of a delay is there.
One question I did try to show it on there is, can you uninstall the add-ons? And it is very easy. You just right-click on it, and it gives you that option. If you guys saw that come up on my screen.
Yeah, they did see it there briefly. I'm on my, we're looking at the broadcast schedule right now. But yeah, so we're going to be shipping our, if you have the complete bundle, you'll get FileMaker Pro 19. And that's how you sponsor or support the channel, is by buying the training. So this is our complete bundle. It says 18 right now. Obviously, this text and the websites have to be updated. That's all work in progress. The team's literally working on that as we speak. But the complete bundle, if your subscription is current, you're going to get 19 and the 19 training. Plus, we're going to be updating the training. So understand how this works. Very important. Very, very, very important. We've all been conditioned that FileMaker ships products used to be every 2 years. Then they were a year and a half. Then for like the last 5 years, they've shipped one new release every year. Now they're going to this rolling release thing, which means that they're going to be getting every 3 or 4 months, which means that next May is not going to be some like giant thing. It'll be just another incremental rolling release. So the video training will be ongoing, being updated. So if you keep your subscription up to date, then you'll get the new videos. If your subscription lapses, then your video player that you're going to get you'll see the new videos. You won't be able to watch them. So the idea is that if your subscription is current, you will be able to watch the videos as we deliver new content, right? So there's quite a bit of new content in it, but these areas here are really big, but they're all also pretty deep. Everyone says, oh, I want to build a module. Okay, well, if you can build, if I gave you $100,000 and I put you in a corner and you can build starting point, then you can build a module, okay? If you have to have absolute expert knowledge of table occurrences, relationship graphs, scripting, all that kind of stuff. You have to be a real ninja at that stuff. If you can do that, then you can do add-ons. It's just it's a way of a senior engineer extending the stuff they've already built. If you want to learn how to do that stuff, then that's where you need a FileMaker coach. Christian, tell us about FileMaker coaching.
I think FileMaker coaching just perfectly complements what RCC is already offering, which is our training. So a lot of people come to us and they go, the training videos are great, but what's kind of a next step for me? And I think coaching is a great place to fit in right there. I know that we've got actually some of my clients in here. And so the way that coaching works is we do a screen sharing through GoToMeeting, and one of our clients comes to us and goes, hey, Art, I'm trying to do this API, or I've got this portal that's not working. Could we help figure out how to solve that? And we figure out how to do it. The other thing that can happen is, hey, I need to build a whole new module. Essentially, the coach is there as your on-call, if you will, developer to either help you build the things that are outside of your skill set, or more importantly, really teach you how to do it to empower yourself. So I've got clients out there who all come in, 2 hours, 4 hours a week to help them get over the humps, but they're spending the bulk of their time actually building the solution and saving a lot of time. And since you came up with this idea, 4 years ago now, Richard, it seems like it's become a very successful program, part of RCC. Can I give one last shameless plug to the coaching program? So I do have some coaches right now who are actually a little bit slow and would love to meet some new clients. So anybody that's in here, if it's something that you would want to even just try out, reach out to support at RC Consulting, mention that you were in the stream, and I'll set you up for a free hour with any of our coaches that are taking on clients. And as MailSoft says, if you see in there, the coaching is really great.
Yeah, yeah. There's a number of people here that are some of our coaching customers, so that's really awesome that you're here. So if you have questions, write them up. Send it if you have questions at all, and you have questions for the live stream, say questions live stream, and then just put it in the text, and I will make sure I print those and bring them with me tomorrow to that. So for Calvin, who didn't say anything today, and Christian, who said a lot, and myself and the rest of the RCC team and fmtraining.tv, we'll see you tomorrow.
Guys just stepped up the whole way. Calm, cool, collected. The quarterback, great read, good patience. More importantly, great job up front protecting this quarterback to give you a chance. And that's all you can ask for.
Trying to rally down 10. 9:25 to go here in the fourth. Short motion by Amendola from the left. Brady takes the shotgun snap, stands in, throws it left for Amendola, reaches up and snacks a high throw and lands inside the 10, rolling to the 9. Ball slightly behind him, but Danny makes the grab.